welcome to Debt to Cinema. I'm Stephen Maltmanex.
And I'm Brian Gillis. Like most people, we love going to the theater and catching the latest releases. However, it can sadly put a big dent in your wallet.
Fortunately, living in the digital age makes the viewing possibilities endless from the comforts of home.
Many of these films that you can see right from your couch, we're ashamed to say we miss, despite labeling ourselves cinephiles.
So join us as one or both of us cross off a title from our list of shame.
It can be an all-time essential classic,
or an underrated piece of cinema that's worth giving a shot.
Hell, it might just be some trashy film we want the other's opinion on. So sit tight and join us as we pay off our debts, $1 at a time.
Every Saturday, in every stadium, halftime is game time.
Man, that's what we should be playing.
Hit him with a little Flight of the Bumblebee.
You know, it's not like an AFA top 10. It's not an Oscar winner or anything.
Maybe it should be.
I've known about this movie since it came out. You know, I remember the advertising. I remember seeing the commercials. You know, Nick Cannon of All That fame at the time. You know, I knew what this was. And then over the years, whenever Drumline is brought up, you know, it's not like many people go to it and say like, oh, that's a favorite movie or that's like a great movie of mine. But the second that, you know, people remember what it is and they talk about it, they start smiling immediately like, yeah, that's a good one, you know. I think it's only fitting that we're talking about it here. We're coming up on, I think, a 5-year mark, October of this year, that we officially stopped podcasting and just kind of occasionally do these get-togethers. Just to reflect a little bit back on the show, you know, here's the thing about when we're talking about this stuff and kind of my process, and just to be completely transparent about it, but it's not like I wouldn't say we churn terrible content, but there's some movies and some content where when we're talking about it, I go into it like, you know, whether it's good or whether it's bad, I just don't have much to say. I just got to be honest. And that's not shitting on any picks or any releases or any movies for that matter. But, you know, sometimes you just don't have much to say. So hopefully I'm not wrong here, but I just had a feeling like with this movie that regardless of what I thought about it, because I had not seen it yet, you would be the guy to at least have a conversation about it.
I don't know if I would say a conversation, but like, unlike you, you know, I did grow up with this one. Like, I don't recall seeing it in the theater. I don't think I did, but I didn't watch All That when Nick Cannon was on it. It wasn't about the star power. You know, Zoe Saldana was not a household name. If anything, at the time, the person in the cast that I was most familiar with was fucking Orlando Jones, and it was because of the 7-Up ads. But it you know, it's not like a star-studded cast. Maybe in retrospect now, it is because Nick Cannon, you know, is the radio DJ for Power 106, and he has a TV talk show, and you know, he has MTV's wildly popular Wild and Out show, which I did kind of grow up on. But I'm pretty confident, you know, despite growing up in the inner city of Long Beach, you know, a city very entwined with hip hop music, you know, thanks to people like Snoop Dogg and presently like Vince Staples, I think this movie was honestly like my introduction to what hip hop and rap music was. And it was only a couple of years after this came out that I went and bought my first rap CD, Kanye West's Late Registration. And so, yeah, you know, 20 years later, it's only fitting, you know, it's like 20 years of rap in my life that I went and saw fucking Kanye West at the LA Coliseum in his sold-out show just this past Christmas. And that was a sold-out show, and the feeling of being in the stands was my first time in a college stadium like that. And it was kind of, I mean, I wasn't thinking about it at the time because there was literally no band. But the closest I'll probably ever get to a feeling like this, unless I do attend some like USC Trojan football game and see their marching band. But that being said, I'm with you in that people don't like out of nowhere go, oh, Drumline's the best movie ever. It's not one of those.
But you basically just kind of validated like why I picked it. Like I had someone at work, I told them I was going to do it for this movie. Yeah, I'm not going to say their name, but I was like, because I don't know how to make this joke, but he was just kind of like, oh yeah, you know, that I got head for the first time to that movie.
Dope, fucking
you know?
dope, bro.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, this chick had it on DVD, they were watching.
Hell
he was
yeah.
like, yeah, that's so. And but that's
Means
not the
means a lot to
that's
him.
that's not the only person that I know that's got memories around this. So it's
No,
just like,
it's a perennial film of our coming of age youth. Like people that are Gen Y or mid set millennials, whatever we end up being called down the road. One of my bigger memories of this film isn't the film itself because I've just seen it so much. It stayed with me. It's my dad telling me, someone who's not like very hip hop centric. I mean, he listens to jazz all the time. Like he can play like jazz trumpet and stuff. But no, like I remember him in this time saying, "Oh yeah, I saw Drumline. It was really good." And he doesn't often say a film is very good. Like that meant something to me. Like getting my dad's thumb of approval is monumental. And while this is like a black college like coming of age story, I don't think there's really a better genre. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is one of the big conversation topics that I had in mind when you picked this movie. Can you or can you not kind of just proclaim this is a musical?
you could, there's a lot of, if you want to go down that route, sure. I think sports movie works, because there is that competitive nature. I mean, it's teams and
But
coaches,
there's
and
no sports.
but I mean, but you got those montages and those training sequences, and just that
Sure,
fierce
sure.
competitive nature of it. So there is that. But what clicked with me as I was watching it, it was more just about the arts and the process of it. And look, this is not the same movie, but I would favorably compare this to the Red Shoes, where and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, they're different, but just that sense of like getting together and creating something, and then all the clashes that can happen behind the scenes too. And there's a lot of personality in this, where there's a lot of different storylines there. Like you got the college movie that's kind of happening at the same time, where they party and shit. But I mean, like I'm curious why you would say musical when you get down to it. But I mean, you can't really just peg it only as one thing. You get what I'm saying? Like
Oh no,
to its
yeah, for
credit,
sure.
there's so many fucking connections that you could make to something else,
No,
that
it's a
there's a
stacked
lot of
movie.
personality here. Yeah.
It's a coming of age movie. It's a fucking yeah. You could say it's a sports film. It's definitely a college film. It's just a lot. And if you look at it, most memorable films, maybe not acclaimed films, but memorable films like zeitgeist films are that film too. I mean, look at something like Back to the Future. Is it sci-fi? Is it romance? Is it a musical as well? There's quite a bit of or not a musical, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's a musical number, but it's more like a jukebox radio movie. And
Got the elements there, but at the end of the day, it's like it's Back to the Future.
of course it's back.
I mean,
It
if it's
defines
like,
itself. It's
yeah,
ultimately it's ultimately a time travel movie, but
yeah,
it is it though. I mean, it's also a franchise. It's a saga, and I feel that way about this film. I mean, to Fox's credit, or I guess Disney now, even though
yep,
they didn't make the decisions at the time, they tried to turn this into a franchise. They made a direct to TV sequel. I think they made a direct to DVD movie as well. Like watching this, because I've seen it so many times, I was like, fuck, I wish this was a show. I wish I could watch like 3 or 4 seasons of this. Like give me some 1 hour episodes. I'll take 10 a season, like to just kind of follow. They kind of set it up in this movie. I mean, we never got a direct sequel, but can you imagine a sophomore year film for this? I would love to see Devin in a role where he's got to break the new freshman who's got an attitude problem.
Also, I think the sequel that's straight to DVD, I got it here. It came out in 2014. Nick Cannon is in that movie, reprising
Yeah, but
his
that's
role.
that's like a 10 year later movie. I'm sure he's part of the marching band staff or something to that effect.
I don't know if the trope is similar, but it might be that kind of like fucking what's the term for it? A legacy. Cool.
Yeah, probably. It,
Yeah.
it, it probably is. I mean, this is a film that I seemingly have a lot to say about, but also nothing to say about, because it surpasses kind of criticism for me. I have no interest in looking up contemporary critics or contemporaneous. Like, I don't care at the time, like what Siskel and Ebert thought of this, or anyone for that matter,
Two thumbs
because
up on the Blu-ray set that I got.
okay, well,
It's Ebert and Roper though.
but the Blu-ray that I got too, it's not
Yeah.
often that I actually buy a film for this show. Never loan something that I've seen so many times that there's kind of no point in buying. Like the next time I decide to watch this, especially on disc because it didn't come with the digital copy, I couldn't tell you, But I was curious to watch the extended cut, but I chose not to because I've done that before. Not
Yeah.
extended cuts perhaps, but unrated cuts. I know we've talked about this on the show before. Where
I think it's only like 4 minutes longer, and I
but even
double
still,
checked. Yeah,
like
but
that
I
4 minutes could mess up the rhythm so much.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to put any taste in my mouth. I went in knowing exactly what I was gonna get, and I got it exactly the same. I noticed some things that I hadn't seen before, maybe in part because I listened with headphones for the first time ever. But it's not just plotted so well, but the setups are delivered in such a fashion that I caught for the first time ever. Like the role at graduation, that whole opening sequence.
Yeah.
His demeanor, his attitude, how much like Nick Cannon's character just does not care. The way he plays drums, the way he makes the whole drum line like kind of impromptu to R. Kelly's, I Believe I Can Fly. The whole thing, the way he like sees his dad, the whole conversation, but like even at when they get to the college, when he's there and they say they're talking about the rules of their marching band. The first thing they say, and you just don't kind of pay attention your first time watching it, you hear him say, Rule 1, you must know how to read music. They set it up. They tell you that huge like plot to like drama is gonna happen, but you're not really listening. You're focusing on all of these drumline leaders, or not drumline, but marching band leaders talking about why their sections are the best. The tubas are the best. The trumpets are the best. This is the best. And then you get that amazing sequence where they're talking about the drum line or the percussion being the pulse, and they have the heartbeat
one
going.
band, one sound. Yeah.
One band, one sound stuff, and like you just kind of there's moments in this film that I think about all the time. Like I used to be, at least, today notwithstanding, but that's only because I got so many hours of sleep. But nevertheless, I used to be late all the time to everything. And over the course of this past year, I changed that. Where now I am early to work. And, like Orlando Jones's thing about, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. It's like, yeah, dude, that's pretty fucking true for life. You can't just go. I mean, you need some time to warm up your voice or check your mic, or like today's case, put on a shirt for me or make sure my coffee was warm. Like, I think about these things. I don't think about the romance in this movie. It's not that it's bad or anything, but I think about the film kind of as a whole. And I mean, I know you liked it, so I know you read it, but like my Letterboxd review from some odd years ago, the last time I saw this, where it's just like, I wouldn't say it's a perfect film. Like there are some things that aren't great about it, or not great.
Backpedal though,
but like, I just love it, man. It's so fucking.
Well,
good.
I mean, you're talking about like Devin, like it's not just his character and how that's set up, like this. I don't want to like. This is kind of what I hate about film discourse is like it feels like sometimes you got to kind of cheapen a movie like this and be like, oh, it's good, it's cookie cutter entertainment, but it's like no, this in its filmmaking like purely embodies just that mantra of one band, one sound, where it's not just in the writing, it's not just in the performances. The opening shot of this movie is a perfect example of show don't tell.
Yeah, him fucking slacking.
Where that camera is overhead, where everybody around him is just in perfect symmetry. Like, they're all just sitting there. And he's the one that sticks out. You know where to look. Even when he stands up from the chair, everybody is getting up, like almost in sync, and he's just kind of like, whatever. Not one line of dialogue yet, and enough about him. Is like, all right, he's naturally. By the time that they're doing the "I Believe I Can Fly" bit, it's like, yeah, okay, naturally talented, but defiant. You know enough to be engaged with him, and it's a combination of their performance, of the characterization, but also the visuals. Like, this may not be a Technicolor classic like The Red Shoes, but this movie is doing shit visually that I really, really like, that carries on throughout it. It may not be flashy and obvious like Morris Brown, like but yeah, no, it's like it's not a thoughtless movie. So like, I don't want to fucking. I really don't want to have to like defend this as like some flavor of the week shit. You know what I mean? That's probably me just getting more upset about film discourse in general, which I guess I'm going on a different tangent.
Well,
But yeah, that's just I wanted to build on top of what you said of like, yeah, like there's one band, one sound. It's every element in the movie working together to
I
create
just
this one thing.
I have no words for this movie. Um, but its influence is so strong. I mean, it's arguable that this is a musical. It depends on your definition of the word. Do they break in
Very
a
much
song
so.
and dance?
No.
No, but it is on screen at least. It is a film musical. They are playing music. There is dancing. It just happens to be choreographed. It's meant for the screen. But then, how do you separate a rock opera from a musical? Like what is that defining characteristic? Like, does it have to be song? Can it just be dance? Like as far as I'm aware, there's not. Well, I guess you call it a dance movie, but like, what's this then? Like it's its own kind of slice of life, and this slice of life was so important. Where like this like started like the Black College film universe. Okay, they're not connected in any way, but only a couple of years after this, I would imagine, inspired by like the step number at the fraternity like dance night or whatever you want to call it, the party. You got Stomp the Yard. It's like 5 years after this, starring Chris Brown and a couple other people.
And I have not seen it.
There's
So
no drumline. It's just what about the people that step and stomp, okay? And it's the same kind of film, except it's about that, right? And I mean, to like a lesser extent, like something like Pitch Perfect, even though that's all white, pretty much. But the same breakdown. It's the same filmic DNA. Let's go to college. Oh, there's this group. They're the best on campus. They're not athletic at all. They do song and dance, and yet they're the best, and everyone shows up to watch them. I'm sure that film existed before this film in a non-athletic way, but without doing any history. Not that I know of. I'm not aware of it. And
I mean, I guess it's that idea of like that trope where there's like a competition. Is it fucking? I haven't seen it in years, but like, is Bring It On a good example that's comparable in some
oh,
way?
100%.
Yeah.
And Bring It On came
Um.
out like 2 years before this, 3 years
Yeah.
before this.
So I mean, there is a trope, there is a thread, but I mean, it's like it's not. The flick is not just that. At least I think the stuff that. Well, I mean, like you can
Honestly,
you can find different examples and you can pick different worlds, whether
the
it's
more the more I think about it,
band or
Bring It On is like a perfect example because you got this like best of group who gets there's more going on. There's like racial tensions and stuff, but who play it safe and win because they're lazy, and then they change it all up, and at the end they go 100% original, and that's what this film does too. Like changing the whole band direction. But I don't even know. I mean, growing up, like in elementary school and in middle school, I was in band, and I did, play bass drum for a performance in one of our school concerts or whatever they're called. And I don't think drumline played a role in me enjoying that. But I mean, I remember someone that played drums in our bands playing drums because of this movie, and I'm confident that that was for a lot of people. It's one of those movies where you're like, oh shit, like if you're watching like a dance movie, you might want to dance, and like this played a role for percussion. I mean, now, I mean, like live percussion's not really a thing, not just because it's loud and you need the space and it takes like true skill, but just think about what you can do with an iPad or with your phone, like using a drum machine program, right? Or like
yeah.
making electronic music. Like I'm confident, like if you ask like people that make music today, especially obviously hip hop music, they're gonna point at this movie being, yeah, a classic. It is one of those movies that it's bigger than just a film, right? Where it plays a vital role in your upbringing. Like you shared your story about your coworker and the blowjob. I
Yeah.
think
It's a
anyone.
staple of a generation too. I mean, just I don't want to make it sound like that grand or important, but that's what it is.
No, it
It's
told. That's what I'm saying. Like
it's very influential.
if
Yeah.
you were born before like 1997, you likely grew up with this.
Hmm.
right? Like, it doesn't matter if you were just 5 years old and you thought it was good, or you were 25 years old. Like it's just one of those movies. Like, obviously, I'd buy this for $1. I bought it for, I think,
Like
$14.
I remember the marketing of this movie pretty well. Like, it's maybe because we don't get band movies either, but it's like, yeah, like when someone said Drumline, I didn't forget what this was. I
Well,
haven't seen it, but I
it's
knew
such
that
a
it had an impact.
it's such a good title. Like, it tells you
Yeah.
everything about the movie. There's gonna be a drum. There's gonna be drumming. But no, yeah, I like it's a musical to me. I don't think most people would consider it such, and namely because there's not original music in this. Maybe it's closer to something like a jukebox musical or something. But it's live performance, and
Yeah.
it's choreographed and staged. And when you're watching like the big numbers at these games in this film, and just how much work that they put into it, especially the final number and the final drumline numbers, like that final, I don't know what it is, 10 minutes of the film when they have the drumline like standoff.
Hmm.
That gives me goosebumps every time I see this movie. Like, seeing the two girls when they're hitting the fucking bass drums and going back to back, like that moment in particular is such a strong moment, like, in my mind. Like, everyone knows when you see a movie or you have that song or whatever that gives you goosebumps. Like,
Yeah.
it's that like indescribable feeling where like your emotions are completely being played to and you're involved, and just talking about it right now, I'm getting baby goosebumps. I doubt it will happen, but I really hope there's some kind of 20th anniversary special, or, like I said, Disney gets their shit
This
together.
year, you
And
never know. I mean,
it's
December
it-
this
yeah,
year, I
it's
think
still
that's yeah.
it's still a long way until then, but yeah,
Yeah.
if Disney can make a Hulu show,
Hey, this episode is the first move. We got to get this out there.
right?
Yep.
Someone will
I
hear it.
mean, there's gonna be some drumline appreciation thing somewhere on the internet. Like, I don't know, we're not exactly doing that, but you know, come on, that's gonna happen out there somewhere in the corners of Reddit, or I don't know, maybe even Letterboxd. I don't know what Letterboxd reviews are saying now, even though that's not really an indicator of, well, yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, it's fucking. I'm not gonna take away how you're seeing it, man. A musical, fucking go with it. Like, it's a cool way to look at it.
Hey, yeah, okay,
I
there is precedence. The Motion Picture Sound Editors Award in 2003. This was nominated for Best Sound Editing in a Music or Musical Movie. So
Well,
they were
I
with
could-
me. They were
I
fucking
could
with
even-
me.
I mean, if you want to go down music, like, I like how a lot of elements in tandem are working together just in this movie. John Powell's music, by the way, before How to Train Your Dragon, he's a much more high profile composer now, but yeah, I mean, this is like one of his first motion picture scores, as far as I know. Really good score too. That just gets, like, that sort of like college band spirit going, while just, yeah, fucking. What else can I say?
I think one of my favorite things about the music in this movie is that it's a time capsule for the time. Like, seeing the Mystical poster and seeing the Stankonia poster and like this era of hip hop, like seeing P.D. Pablo come out of his Bentley on Dubs wearing like an all white like velvet and suede outfit or whatever it is,
The MTV era of
and
hip hop.
and
Yeah.
on his hip is a two-way. It's not a pager, it's not a cell phone, it's specifically a two-way. And for people that don't know what that was, if you weren't from this area, it's basically just a text-to-text communicator. Like, you could just send text or just send AOL instant messages or like email. Like, there was no other form of communication on this thing. And I remember wanting one of those really bad, like a full QWERTY keyboard, and you just flipped it open, and you typed a message, and then you fucking close it. And yeah, like it's specifically early 2000s. There's no cell phones in this movie. The internet's not really a thing. Like, everyone was kind of stuck in their own head. And then when you get that musical care package from Miles's dad,
Yeah.
and you get funk in the film, and like the way the score shifts for that, like that montage of Devin going to class and like learning about music beyond his own, And like that like is his metamorphosis. You know, he's down and out. He's not with his girlfriend anymore. He got kicked off the marching band. Like he's barely even around his friends anymore. He's like cloistered and kind of shut off. And yet, like, you know, the music, you know, which is his most important thing, is so strong, and his recognition for the music is so strong that it's the thing that ultimately changes him. Like he's still just as good as he always was, but like there's this sense, you know, you don't realize it until other things happen in your life, but like when you have this sense of entitlement, namely because you know you're the best, when your elitism is that strong because you have proof, like it's in the pudding.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a real fall from grace to even recognize your faults, right? And
Like,
he understands one band, one sound. Like it is a team sport. It's not a singular, I'm gonna make it happen. No one's a real superstar. You know, superstars win rings.
well, it's funny. I just the atypical route that I mean this might be the thing I really love most as far as like how this is written is like it's you know we know the arc, we know the journey, but like yeah, Devin is he's full of himself at the start, but you know it's not like a one dimensional like and then he learns to get his shit together. Like you know he's got shit going on. You know we know that he's you know we see that scene with his dad, which does become important later on. That's not like just a nothing scene, but also
Yeah.
when he's on the bus, you know fucking. I think Charles, the tuba player, right?
I
Like you
play
know,
tuba.
yeah, he's trying to get everybody together, and like you know, like one of Devin's like redeeming qualities, like you know, because if he's just full of himself the whole time, it's gonna be he won't be sympathetic. But I mean, you know, everyone's just kind of like looking at Charles like, yeah, you know, who's this guy? But then Devin breaks the ice of like, yeah, fuck it, I'm Devin, and then everybody else kind of gets along, and you know, it's kind of that thing where he's able to bring everybody together. He's got that capacity too, so you know even when he's auditioning you know they consider like raw talent and attitude at the same time, and you know so there's layers there to consider of like why anyone would keep him around and tolerate him fucking what
I mean,
I'm
it's
being a little bit unorganized
no,
here,
I know
but
what you're saying.
yeah
Like it's a fact of life, you know. Like people respect talent. Like there's that line in the film. Obviously, you know this scrub, this freshman, this guy who's still wet behind the ears, can't even read music, but we don't know that yet. You know, thinks he's the best, and his leader, you know, takes offense to that because he's supposed to be the best, but obviously he's not. You know, this guy can fucking learn a cadence on the spot within seconds. He doesn't even have to practice. He doesn't need sheet music. He doesn't need training or a teacher. He just needs a spotlight, right? And you're afraid of people that are better than you. Maybe not because you're worried or they're going to take your place. You're like, you know, it took me a long time to get this good, and where the fuck did you come from? And that's a challenge that he has to face. You know, he tells a story about, oh yeah, your leader came to my fucking house and begged my mom to go to your school. You get the dean of the college or the president of the music department, whatever the difference is, you know, demanding that he's on the field. You know, like you have the leader of the rival school trying to poach him. Like you just know, he's the best. You know he's the best. And yeah, like he's special. Everyone knows it, and the fact that he even can shift that is what kind of brings this film together. Not because he's a round character, because like you said, you know, like the one band, one sound mantra is so beaten into you, like no pun intended, that even the most out of shape person can believe that. Even this leader, his section leader, can fucking remember that and then help him even when he's not part of the band anymore. Like even this person who's on the dance team can drop her major because it is what makes her happy, not her parents like paying for tuition, right? And it's a feel good movie. If I'm like if I was going through a breakup, I'd want to watch this. If I was sick, I would want to watch this. If I got fired from work, I'd want to watch this. And fittingly, I was just suspended from work for kind of being an asshole with like that doesn't work well with others. So like,
oh man,
no, I don't care. But like you know,
if
I did care, like I'd probably want to watch this movie anyway because it's like
get you back on track.
It's a good moral for like literally what I just went through, and like, it's just one of those movies. Like if it was if it was playing at a movie theater, I don't know if I would hunt down tickets necessarily, because I've seen it so many times. But yeah, I would like to see this with an audience, like 100%, like maybe like a drive-in kind of thing. Like I would want to see it with like a lot of people. Like, I want to
Fair
hear
enough.
people like, yeah, fuck yeah, like people like drum. Like I remember people telling me stories about seeing this in theaters and like the whole crowd like kind of like stomping their feet or like drumming along to the movie, and because it hooks you. It's not a thing that's part of either of our backgrounds. This is not something that like speaks to us because oh we grew up with marching bands, like unlike the characters in this film. And
Hmm.
I watched one of the supplemental materials that like follows like actual marching bands that are like were inspirations for this film. Like that wasn't us, you know. Like it's bigger than that. It's not the music they're playing. There's just something about a live band that is this focused on their work ethic and on their demeanor that you can't just like find yourself in awe of. You're like, you know, maybe Morris Brown does play the catchier music that makes you shake your butt in the seats, but hearing this band play fucking Fly to the Bumblebee, you're like, fuck, that's like really good, and that's not
It
even my
sticks out.
music. You're like,
Yeah.
look at that musicianship, like that's so good. Like where the fuck did that come from? I'm gonna go put that in my MP3 player. You know, I'm confident. I'm confident because of the era that this came out. That people on cable or on their VHS or DVD copies probably took out their cell phone voice recorders, recorded snippets of this movie to use as their ringtone or use as their fucking voicemail answering
For
machine.
real, man.
Like
Damn.
I'm confident of it.
That's a bold statement, but
I bet you. I
you know
bet
what?
you.
I'm not. I won't deny it. Hey, it's no arguments here, man. It's, I don't know if it was that hard. You know what? I'm sure that one person at least exists. I'll
I
give you that.
guarantee it was
Yeah.
hundreds, if not thousands. But you know, you knew what I would say coming into this. I just gotta ask. Not that it matters, but would you buy
Huh?
this one?
Yeah. It's a. I mean, God, I just don't give a shit about ratings anymore. But I
No, it's
mean,
not
you
a
know, like,
rating. I don't care out of
but
10 stars what you're gonna give it. Just would you
but I
buy
mean,
this one?
but yeah, no, sure. I mean, it's funny, just like how what you said of like just getting a bunch of people in a theater, and it's like but or like it's not like this movie is an event, but if you get a packed crowd in there, you can get them to leave enthusiastic, which by definition that is a crowd pleaser. And it's I wouldn't want to like hype it up as that, but then yeah, this movie does earn it. Like by the end, like I really like the journey, and I like Devin's journey. I like how like at the end, like it kind of plays like with those tropes and those cliches, but at the same time, like it really doesn't. Like it, as cool as that ending is at the Southern Classics, it's like it doesn't feel like some big standoff to me. Like Devin like gets his victory by getting on that field, which is already 3/4 of the way in. He earns that by working, with the team, and like that's what he ends up getting thrown out there in a challenge. But he had earned his place already by the end. And it's kind of cool, like watching that segment play out of like being reminded of that, like when you have the Morris Brown thing with PD Pablo coming out, what, and it kind of,
Who am I?
yeah,
Okay,
it kind
excuse
of
me.
goes back to the beginning of that when you see Devin at graduation, and he sticks out for everybody. But when you see that routine with PD Pablo, Morris Brown is working in perfect unison, but PD Pablo is on his own, and you see him like not wearing, he's not in like the band colors or anything. He's not part of their routine. He's doing his own thing and sticking out, and the attention is all on him. And that is what Devin could have been. And he rejects that and ends up working with A&T and just sticking with a band. It's kind of cool, like seeing how these things play out.
Well, there's like a
Yeah.
sense because I still can't believe. Obviously, you know, there's a certain point of view of this film. You're following a particular character's story. I still can't believe it's a two-way tie at the end. And speaking of, like, who the hell says two-way tie?
You
Nevertheless,
Got Served did the same thing, by the way.
sure.
If you remember that.
But both
Yeah.
of those dance troupes were like equally footed. With that being said, how could you watch that Morris Brown performance where there's not even choreography? Like, the whole marching band is just standing in line, moving left and right, right? Like, they're not doing anything fancy. Like, it's super cool that they get a big recording artist coming out on a red carpet, and, like, they're playing, like, literally his backing track. Like, it's just really, really good.
They're flashier and more for attention. Like, I don't know if you noticed this with the way that the camera moves, but Morris Brown gets all the dynamic camera moves.
Because they make the crowd move.
It's just focused on them.
Yeah.
And what they're doing for the most part. And you get the tight close-ups on Devin, on Sean, on everybody as they're moving. Part of that is, I think, because Nick Cannon can't actually drum.
But there's like this flavor to them that is more enticing, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, which is funny what it says of like what is actually on the screen can sometimes be more interesting than just some flourishes that you can do with the camera.
But there's that,
because you can definitely fool someone into thinking that something like looks really fucking cool without it actually being that impressive.
I just love the decision on Devin's part because he's obviously, you know, he's the best, right? And you get
naturally
him
talented.
You get him in the beginning on the bus passing Morris Brown, going, "Oh shit, I went going to the wrong school." And then meeting Morris Brown and, like, you know, taking their director's business card.
Yeah.
Obviously going there, like, he's seen them perform. He's thinking about going to their school. Their band director, you know, he fits in more with him. Like, his lifestyle is closer.
Like, he says, like, hey, you're one with the crowds right away, which is what Morris Brown is after. They want the attention.
But, you know, Devin's decision, like, no, the musicianship. Thank you. Is more important. I would rather be part of a band. I want to be with the better group. I want the people that care. I want, you know, like, the moral compass, like, all of that. Like, it outshines, like, well, this is the place you're going to be the superstar. He's like, well, I'd rather be with the group that's a superstar, you know? But, yeah, I still can't believe it's a tie at the end, though. Like, it's for dramatic effect. It would have been lame if they just won. Like, if they won, you'd be like, oh, the movie kind of doesn't end. And, like,
that's
it really kind of doesn't.
Not that interesting to me. Like, you get to celebrate, like, you get to see what bands do. That's cool, but it's like that's not. That final battle's not the biggest takeaway for me, but it is kind of cool seeing what a face-off looks like on the field. How that's set up. How just there's no lights on the crowd because they do
don't
not
matter.
exist. Maybe. You know, just from a budget perspective, maybe they just don't want that many extras in the background because I don't think we were green screen heavy yet.
No, I don't think there's.
At the same time, it's like,
I don't think there's any CG in this movie. Like, zero.
No,
it's definitely shot on film. Like, there. I think
it's grainy. Yeah,
there's
good, though.
Zero CG. Right.
The Blu-ray looks good.
No, Blu-ray looks really good.
Yeah.
Let me leave you with this thought. You know, we're talking about this as a college movie. This is a sports film. This is the anti-Rudy.
I mean, I see that there's parallels to Rudy, like, you know how the drums are like hitting hard.
This is the anti-Rudy. Rudy is about this kid who has no skill, no fucking talent, that everyone likes, fighting through like fucking tooth and nail to find his place on this not band but this group, this team. Can't do it. He's just the warm-up guy. Can't afford the school. Fucking always been a runt. Nothing special about him. And at the very, very moment, because of hard work and everyone liking him, he gets his chance to shine. He gets his chance to shine for 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Conversely, this is about a superstar that has the most talent in the world, that does not fit in because he's an asshole, that everyone likes because he's good, having to prove his place because they realize that he's worth their effort too. It's the opposite of Rudy.
I'll go with you there. They're different circumstances, but at the end of they both have to work towards something. You know, like,
sure,
Devin can't just show up and be like, "Oh, I'm good." It's like, no, he still has to fucking learn how to read music.
I mean, did he have to learn how to read music though?
They're still both putting in the work.
Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure.
If you enjoyed this episode, you can listen to more by checking out the Dollar Reviews show, where we cover theatrical and streaming releases, as well as give our 2 cents on anything we sought out on our own, whether that be TV, music, etc.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
And we're also on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, just about anywhere on the internet, with hours of content available to you for free. But for those of you that feel that the show is worth your dollar, you can send us a donation at patreon.com/dollarreviews. Contributions not only earn our undying love, but they also make it possible for us to improve our recording equipment and to give you the highest quality episodes possible. But more importantly, they'd be helping us acquire the content to review. You know, trips to the multiplex are expensive, and the more donations we receive, the more films we can review for your listening pleasure.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Death to Cinema request, or if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BRYONGILLIS, and now you know how to spell the email too, and also under the same name on the Love Views site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate films that I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name, where I log everything I watch, and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time.